Well, it was lovely to hear your voice preceding Jose Mourinho's earlier on in the press conference. I just said before we come on air, I mean, can you imagine Jose Mourinho in Scotland? Imagine the carnage. It would just be brilliant.
It'd be sensational. I mean, he was in brilliant form the day, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And honestly, the kind of twinkle was back in his eye, just as you'd expect. I mean, the room was, there must have been about 100 people in there, wasn't there? I mean, the press conference was mobbed, but you got the feeling that Jose quite liked the fact that there were Scottish people there, English speaking, big game against a British club. And he almost he wasn't that interested in the Turkish question.
No, he was quite dismissive at a couple of their lines. Wasn't particularly chatty, but as you say, he seemed to light up as soon as his friends from back home.
It did look a little bit like he was doing a tap dance routine for the British media and for the cameras back home, as if there is a little bit of an itch that he wouldn't mind scratching back and let's just say British football, be that England, Scotland or wherever, lads.
Yeah. Oh, but the two main lines in it were obviously the line about him possibly managing one of the old firm. And look, it's probably a legitimate question. They were talking about Rangers on the verge of a big takeover, so who knows who might be the next Rangers manager in the future. So it was worth asking it, and as you say, I mean, he bit on it right away and said, no, but why not in the future? Because he was talking Rangers and Celtic up as huge clubs. He's a guy that's only ever really managed huge clubs in his career. So, what is he now, 62, 63, I think? So, it's maybe something he would look at in the future. And obviously, the other line was quite funny. I mean, he was asked about Philippe Clement's opinion of him. For a couple of weeks ago when the draw got made, obviously, Clement said he wasn't that big a fan of Jose's defensive style. And when he was asked about it, he started by saying, do you think I'm going to answer that? And then proceeded to answer it anyway. His own style. And clearly wasn't happy. I mean, it just shows you these things obviously get back. He's definitely heard about what Clement had said about him, and he wasn't too happy. He talked up Barry Ferguson, even said he'd get a tougher game against Rangers with Ferguson in the dugout.
Boys, did he not say, I don't even know what his name is? Or...
Aye, what's his name, aye?
Proceeded to mispronounce it, his first attempt as well, so... Yeah, I mean, the thing we know about Jose Mourinho is he's got a shelf life in a lot of clubs, usually 2-3 seasons, and then he gets that itchy feet. And I just wonder if he's maybe planting a seed if he fancies. I mean, he spoke so warmly about his time in Scotland, about obviously starting out at Largs where he did his coaching badges, and obviously spoke so warmly about both Rangers and Celtic has been two huge clubs with passionate fan bases. You look at the clubs he's been to, he's starting to sort of tick off these huge clubs from huge European hotbeds, passionate football cities, and I just wonder. So obviously, you asked the question. I mean, it does look like he might fancy a crack at it one day. Did you see it happening?
I see it happening. I mean, you wouldn't do anything with Mourinho, would you?
He does like a couple of quid, though, Scotty. I mean, he would hardly be the cheap option.
No, well, Rangers are going to have a couple of quid, aren't they? Scotland.
I don't know if they've got that much. I don't know if they'll have Mourinho money.
The Celtic, they've got a few quid in the bank.
Maybe it's just wishful thinking. But Daniel, as you said, he would be absolute box office. Press conferences every week would be sensational. So I'm all for it.
Well, see, even now, he's still box office. I think Josie's brilliant. Like, you're saying the place was packed today. I don't think he's come up against a Scottish club since the 2003 UEFA Cup final. Am I right?
He came to Ibrox for a friendly, 2007, something like that. It was the famous or infamous Philip Sebo goal at Road. But I think that's about his only involvement with Scottish team since that UEFA Cup final in Seville. So,
but he genuinely does have an affection for Scotland. You could hear that today. As Andy says, starting his coaching journey in Largs. So obviously, huge respect for guys like Sir Alex Ferguson, and I think Scottish, coaches in general over the years, kind of legendary coaches. So I definitely think it would appeal to him as he's getting on. if one of those jobs was put to him, and as Jacko says, obviously the circumstances need to be right, conditions, money, whatever, but I think it would appeal to him just purely because of what he spoke about today. The passion, the fans, the size of the club, access to Europe every season. I certainly wouldn't rule it out.
Talk to us about this Fenerbahce side and what Barry Ferguson's about to encounter here. Not only is he pitting his wits against one of the modern day greats of management, but it's not a brilliant Fenerbahce side, but there's some serious talent. There's been a few bob spent in that as well.
Yeah, but there's obviously decent form. Is it 18 games? I think it is. They're unbeaten. But the thing that might encourage Rangers is that in terms of that league phase table, I think they were sort of down the bottom end. I think they just sort of snuck into the sort of top 24. So Rangers in terms of European form have probably get the edge on them this season. But as we all know, right now this is a Rangers team that is how do we say, struggling, yeah, very bad after recent events domestically. We all know that they've been able to pick things up. They've gone up several levels in Europe, the style of play with teams coming out at them and looking to leave spaces that they can finally exploit, because they can't really do it against teams that will sit in. But somebody was making a comment today at the press conference. Jose Mourinho, he's not exactly well known for being wide open and free flowing. I mean, he's going to have this Fenerbahce side sort of pretty well drilled, pretty organised. Obviously, they've got some big talent as well. But listen, I think if Rangers can get any sort of result that allows them to go back to Ibrox, still be in the tie, I think they bite your hand off. It's going to be an intimidating atmosphere as well. So I mean, all these things they would take into account.
I actually think, Jacko, Mourinho is arguably Rangers' biggest problem in this tie, because this is a guy who is desperate to win this.
What, bigger than Cyril Dessers?
Honestly, we know what Mourinho's like. He just loves winning. It doesn't matter whether it's the Champions League, Europa League, even the Conference League when he won it not that long ago. So he'll be desperate to win this, or go to the semis or the final or whatever, and that's a problem for Rangers. If he kind of gets that hunger into his players for this